Well, happy Thursday morning to you, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma, and this is what I call my morning musings. Boy, I'm just really enjoying the morning today. I had a good night's rest and enjoying some good coffee. Hope that your day is starting off really well as well. We are looking at the eschatology of the parables of Jesus. And we're in Matthew chapter 25, 14 and following. And Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is like. Now, I would like to point something out here. In the three parables of Matthew chapter 25, Jesus begins the first two with saying, the kingdom of heaven is like. And the reason this is significant is that we have people who tell us, and I once believed, well, the kingdom was established on Pentecost. Now, make no mistake, I believe the kingdom was born on Pentecost. There's no question about that. However, what we have in these parables is prediction of Jesus' coming, his parousia, his judgment coming, and that is what is being likened to the kingdom. So, since Jesus says the kingdom of heaven is like, and then he talks about his coming in judgment, okay, then we have to see that his reference to the kingdom in these passages is not a reference to Pentecost. It is not a reference to the birth of the kingdom, the birth of the church, if you please. It is rather a reference to Jesus' coming to fully establish and to enter fully into his reign. Let me illustrate that. Matthew chapter 25 and the parable of the coming of the bridegroom. Well, you see, in the text, it's the coming of the bridegroom for the wedding. It's not the betrothal. We could argue that Pentecost is the betrothal. But Matthew 25 is the coming of the Lord for the wedding. It's the consummation that is in view. And just like in Matthew 25, 14 and following, a man went into a far country there to receive a kingdom. Well, he would enter into his rule, enter into his reign, enter into his authority there in the far country, but what would he do? He would return to enter fully into that reign. And you see, Jesus refers in Luke chapter 19 to the custom in the ancient world. If a man had been given a kingdom, in other words, in the Herodian family, what we have is Herod the Great had died. Archelaus, his grandson, had to go to Rome for the Roman emperor to recognize his kingship and to bestow the kingship on him. Now, while Archelaus was in Rome, Jewish ambassage came to Rome and said, we don't want this man to rule over us. Please don't have this man to rule over us. Guess what Archelaus did when he came back to Israel? Just like Jesus says in the parable, gather those men together who would not have me to rule over them and destroy them. He is entering fully into his reign. My point here is this. However long you delay the coming of the Lord, it is that long that you delay the coming of the kingdom in its full power and its full glory. It is that long that you delay the entrance of Christ into the full power and rule of his kingdom. It is that long that you delay the wedding. So when we look at the eschatology, the parables of Jesus, and we see Jesus saying, the kingdom of heaven is like, and we see that his references here are not to the initiation of the kingdom, not to the birth of the kingdom that took place on Pentecost. Oh no. He is talking about his coming to enter into the wedding, the consummation of the betrothal, and he is talking about the coming in judgment, the full exercise of the authority that he received in the far country. This teaches us a lot about eschatology. So let me say again, however long we delay the coming of Christ, it is that long that we delay the entrance of Christ into the full exercise of his kingly authority. And keep this in mind. In Revelation chapter 11, we find the destruction of the old covenant city, the city that said, we will not have this man rule over us. And it is that time in which it is then sung in a paean of victory. The kingdoms of this world have become the kingdoms of our God and of his Christ, and they shall rule forever and forever. There's the coming of Christ for the wedding. There's the coming of Christ and the judgment of those who said, we will not have this man to rule over us. Incredible, incredible stuff. Hey, don't forget now, offering a special on Joel McDermott's book, Jesus v. Jerusalem. Joel goes through the parables of Jesus found in Luke particularly and demonstrates that Jesus told those parables as part of his lawsuit against Jerusalem for her rejection of him. Joel does a fantastic job of exegeting the parables in many, many ways. And as I stated in my initial offer of this, you will find yourself asking the question, how could anybody say those things and not be a full preterist? Well, many people have read those comments and become full preterists. You need a copy of this book, okay? Go to my website, eschatology.org, BibleProphecy.com, order the book, Jesus v. Jerusalem, say that you saw the offer on YouTube or Facebook, and I'll refund your shipping. You will thoroughly enjoy this book. It's really great in many, many ways. All right, thanks so much for joining me. Hey, Lord willing, I'll be back with you on Monday. You have a fantastic and a safe weekend. God bless.